What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to JojoSpeaks. Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. I have a very special guest with me, my good friend Dustin Butler. He is from the Juice Radio and Talk Show. He's from
Hmm.
some other platforms on YouTube, and he is here with me to discuss 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Now, we were typically doing this show on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. However, Regina has put that on hold temporarily. So because I've enjoyed watching this show and doing the reviews with Dustin in the past, then I wanted to continue doing it on my particular channel and to get more content for my
Hmm.
channel as well. So first of all, I want to say, Dustin,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here with me. You are the reason why I'm watching this particular show. So I'm so glad that
Thank
you're
you.
here with me, and I'm so glad that we get to do this together. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing a lot better. Thank you, Jonathan, for taking the show on. This is a better situation for me because I got to be the point where I didn't feel very comfortable at the Juice Radio and Talk Show, so I had to
Right.
make a change. So I thank you very much, Jonathan.
No problemo. So let's get this party started. So I want to start out with Sophie and Rob. So
Yeah.
this past episode, we saw Sophie. Sophie was still in Texas, I believe,
Yes.
and Rob had just come back from his hometown. I'm not sure. I think he was in Arkansas. He was some other state. I can't remember.
Hmm.
But he
Right.
went there for his birthday, and there was this woman who was, kissing all up on his face and telling him that she wanted to give him her number and,
Hmm.
all that stuff, giving him all the clues that she wanted him to get
Yeah.
with her. You know what I'm saying? It was
Correct.
crazy. And so
Hmm.
Rob is trying to figure things out. And he comes to this conclusion to where the producers are asking him, "What are you feeling?" And whenever you hear producers in the mix, that's when you know something big is about to go down. And so
Right.
he contacts Sophie, and he tells her he wants to meet up with her to tell her something. And he's come to the decision that he no longer wants to be with Sophie. He doesn't want to be with her anymore. Here's my
Hmm.
thing, Dustin. I kept thinking I don't see Sophie leaving Rob for any reason. I don't see her having the courage and the gumption to leave him. I don't know really
Hmm.
exactly what's keeping her with him besides his looks. However, I did not see Sophie leaving him, but we already know that they're not together anymore. So it was
Hmm.
surprising for me to see that Rob was the one to initiate their breakup. Dustin, what did you
Yeah.
think about Rob and Sophie and where they are now? What are your
Well,
thoughts?
my thoughts are this, Jonathan. I seen it coming. I seen this coming because I wouldn't want to be in an uncomfortable situation in a marriage with somebody else.
Right.
I seen it coming. I didn't know who was gonna do it in the first place, but I think that this was the better situation for all of them to go through this the way it's going through it now. But I don't think that honestly, I think it's better for them as well. Um, they can both get find somebody else. She can find somebody else, and he can find somebody. So whoever makes you happy, that's all that matters to me. So as long as you're happy, that's all that concerns me. You know, do what you gotta do. And continue on here with this situation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with I think it was 2 episodes ago, Sophie was
Hmm.
having this conversation with the producers or with herself rather. And
Right.
and it seems like she just keeps finding her way back to Rob. Like no matter
Right.
what, Sophie's always going to go back to Rob. I don't know if she has detachment issues. I don't know if she has abandonment issues. Maybe she was feeling abandoned when her mother was going through her addiction issues
Hmm.
when she was growing up. So I don't know
Right.
if it's something of that nature. But the fact that she
Hmm.
finds a way to leave him in the first
Correct.
place is one thing, but the fact that she still comes back makes the leaving him in the first place invalid. It means that you don't mean
Right.
what you say. It means that, I don't think Sophie really knows what she wants. And the thing is, she's still young.
Hmm.
And so I hope that she can mature sometime in the future to, make better decisions for herself. I'm so glad that she
Hmm.
still has her mother on her side.
I, I
Um,
I honestly don't think that she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna mature. Um, she needs to mature, but she's not going to. Maybe she will, but I just don't see it happening. Pretty, pretty. I'm pretty, I'm pretty thinking that she's gonna find somebody else. She's supposed to be on a single life when the single life comes out. So we'll find out if she's on the single life. Um, but she's that's not. It's just not going to work for me. It's not going to work for me at all. Um, she's not happy with Rob, and like I said, that's why they broke up supposedly. Um, she's she's not she's not happy with Rob, and she needs to be happy with somebody else. So that's just my opinion on that question right there. Mhm.
Agreed. And I want to also mention 2 episodes ago when Rob was actually no, it was an episode ago when Rob was actually out of town for his birthday, and he was
Mhm.
talking to his friends, and his friends were encouraging him to cheat on his wife. And
Right.
my thing is, that's not surprising
Mhm.
when it comes to men in general. I was going to say African American men, but that's men in general, no matter what your
Right.
color is. And so, when
Mhm.
you have that whole, uber masculinity thing that's taken over, you feel like you're the man, you can do whatever your heart desires. And the fact that Rob did not actually sleep with that woman shows me
Mhm.
a whole lot, and shows me he at least has feelings for Sophie. He at least loves Sophie. I
Well, he
just
loves her,
don't.
but
I,
mhm.
I just don't think he knows how to take care of her. And I don't know if
Right.
he knows how to actually care for her as a genuine husband. But I
Mhm.
saw some good in that, though. I really did see some good
I seen
in
some.
Rob.
I seen a lot of. I seen a lot of good in Rob, but sometimes Rob needs to make the changes in order for the marriage to last. And I've been saying this on my other platform as well. I don't see a lot of things change. I don't see him changing or her changing. But maybe
Yeah.
since they're not no longer together, maybe it's going to be a better situation, which I hope it is. Hmm.
Right. And
I really do.
right. Hey, Bianca.
Hi, Monica.
Here's the thing. Like when you get into a relationship with someone, you can't go
Right,
into the relationship expecting to be able to change who they are, because
right,
we are all adults in this thing that we have here called life. And we
right.
can't go into our relationships with unreasonable
Hmm.
expectations of our partner to be able to be whatever it is that we need them to be for ourselves. We have to
Hmm.
allow them to be whoever they want to be for themselves, and
Right.
hope that they'll be able to accept us as we are, genuinely and authentically.
Hmm.
So that's the main issue with Rob and Sophie, is that they want to
Right.
change who one another is. And that whole
Hmm.
granola bar argument, like, was so petty. Like the
Right.
it, and but again, that's Rob's whole argument. Rob's whole argument is petty, period, point blank.
Hmm.
He's an extremely petty person.
Yeah.
And
He's
it
always
gets
been
to
that way. Hmm.
right, and
He's always been petty.
it gets to be extremely annoying, like
Right.
annoying on the highest level of
Right.
annoyance. It really is unbearable at times. But
Hmm.
again, I'm hoping that both of them will be able to find love. Hopefully, both of them will be able to find
Yeah.
someone who suits them better. The thing is, as far
Yeah.
as Rob is concerned, I can't think of the type of girl that would be willing to put up with Rob and all the issues that he has. Um, because I feel like no one will be perfect for Rob, because
Hmm.
Rob would just want to have everything done his way or the highway. I kind
Hmm.
of attribute that to Gerard Carmichael, for those who haven't watched his reality TV show on HBO Max.
Yeah, I seen it. Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's
seen what you're talking about.
he is a very different type of man, who is is my way or the highway with everyone who is in
Yeah.
his life. And that's the same type of person that Rob is. If you're not going to do things the way that he wants you to do them, then you don't deserve to be in his circle. You don't deserve
Yeah. Right.
to be with him. So
Hmm. That's
what
right.
we saw at the end of the video, at the end of the
Hmm.
episode rather, that Rob is seemingly breaking up with Sophie.
Hmm.
Uh, what are your thoughts, and how do you think Sophie is going to react to him asking for them to break up in the next
Well,
episode?
I don't think that she's going to react well to the
Mm-mm.
question. Um, I think that we're going to have a rude awakening next episode. Um, I think we're going to see another side of her come out that we haven't seen so far this season. Um, but we haven't totally got to the whole season yet, so we're going to wait until the tell-all comes out, because I think when the tell-all comes out, I think we're going to have a lot of questions that's going to be answered. Um, but I don't think that she's going to take it well, and I wouldn't take it well either, because that's her marriage at the time, and even though she's no longer together with him, then that's you know that's better for her situation. That's better for his situation. But that's not mean it's still not gonna take it. She ain't gonna take it well, and I wouldn't take it well either. If it was me in that situation, I wouldn't take it well either, Jonathan. So I don't think you would take it well if it was you either. So I
No,
know
no.
I wouldn't take.
I would be devastated
Right,
if my husband were to ever break up with me. But here's my thing.
right,
I don't know what to expect as far as Sophie is concerned, as in her reaction to him breaking up with her. However, I'm
right.
expecting to, well, I don't know what to expect. Then I say I'm expecting. I'll say that I'm expecting for Sophie to
I'm I'm I'm
react
expecting.
in a way where she would want to try to get him back,
Sure. Hmm.
where she would want to try to work things out, where she will resist
Right,
the fact of them not being together anymore. I think she will
right,
try her best to win Rob's heart back, and that will put her in a situation of looking like a beggar and looking like a woman who's desperate. And I think she's
but
going to come off looking desperate if she does that. Do you think
my
that she
question
might end up doing that?
my question is to you. Do you think she's gonna go back to John? Do you think that she's gonna go back to him? Because I really don't.
If he
I,
allows her, she will always be with him. Rob holds all the power in this relationship. He literally holds all the
Mhm.
power in their relationships. He
Right.
dictates what it is that they do. He dictates how they operate as a couple.
Yeah.
And so it's all up to Rob. If he wants to be with
Uh,
Sophie, Sophie's going to be with him. If he doesn't want to be with Sophie anymore, there's really nothing that
uh,
Sophie can do about it.
mhm.
So it all really
Do you
depends
think that?
on Rob.
Do you think that if Sophie if they leave, because see they had to apply for that visa and they have to be together for that visa to go through. So I think that she might
Oh,
get sent. I think that she might get sent back to the other country. Yeah,
yes,
because
she.
you have to be together for so long of a period before you can get your citizenship. When you have a 90-day fiance visa, you have to be together for like over 10. I think they got to be physically together for 10 years, and then
Wow,
they can finally apply for that visa. So
wow.
after they can apply for the change of status. Basically, they already have the visa, but they can't apply
Hmm.
for the change of status before they get to 10 years. So they got to be together for 10 years, or she could go back to the other country.
Well, I'm assuming Sophie will end up back in London, England, eventually, and that's where I want her
Right,
to find her next husband. I don't want her to go looking desperately for a man, and I hope that
right,
she learns from her mistakes in being with Rob and understand that
right.
that is not the type of man that she needs, because she will never be happy with a man like Rob. Never be
Yeah.
happy with a man like Rob. But let's
Mm-hmm.
move on to Alex and Lauren, or Lexi and Lauren. This is
Actually,
my favorite
yeah,
couple of this particular season of 90 Day Fiance
yeah.
Happily Ever After. They had this conversation at dinner an episode
Mm-hmm.
ago, not the previous episode, not this most recent
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
that she
The
wants,
previous. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yes, and that she wants to go back to work. And Lexi did not take this news too well.
Yeah.
And she said that she wants him to be her cheerleader. And he took offense to that in a way,
Mm-hmm.
saying that, I've been your cheerleader all this time. I've always been your
Yeah.
cheerleader. What do you mean you want me to just be at home and take care of the kids and do all the house stuff that you've been doing for the past I don't know how long.
Right.
And when you set up a marriage, you have these types
Right.
of conversations
You
as
have to
to
be.
how
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
how you're going to be with each other going forward. How are you going to
Right.
set up the house? Who's going to be working? Who's going to be taking care of the kids? Who's going to be paying the bills? Who's going to be doing this? Who's going to be doing that? And when someone comes in and tries to change things up, it causes an issue. And it's clearly caused an issue
Right.
between Lauren and Lexi. And
Right.
I'm starting to see a side of Lexi that is not
I'm
the
starting to
most
see a. I'm starting to see a side of Lexi that I don't like. Um,
agreed.
I don't like the side of Lexi that I haven't ever seen before.
Hmm.
But we both have, you know, he has a life as well, Jonathan, and I kind of agree with him on her not. I want her to go back to work. I do, but it has to be when you are married to somebody else. You have to have these kind of conversations in private
Right.
and not on not on actual TV because
Right.
when you're doing this on actual TV, people can uh, do this kind of recap like we're doing now, and we
Right.
can say whatever we want to say, on about the show. So I don't. I feel bad for Alex and Lauren both because I see both sides of it. But I do feel bad for Alex more than I do Lauren because I think Lauren doesn't realize what she's put him through with this
Right,
surgery.
right.
You had a great big surgery, and you're still healing. So you're gonna be healing for a while. So why would you want to go back to work and actually probably run your surgery because they can run your healing process. If you go back you go back way too fast, you can tear your parts or whatever you're doing, tear to pieces. You could just you can go back to step one again. She don't want to do that, so
Exactly.
she needs to be more careful.
Right.
She just needs,
I
yeah,
was just going to say, I was starting to see, just as you were saying a little bit earlier, Dustin, I was starting to see a
yeah,
side of Lexi that I didn't like.
yeah.
He was coming off just slightly controlling, just slightly controlling. And
hmm
I think that
He's
might
very he
go back
he's
to,
very he's very controlling because I've seen him on these other seasons of 90 Day Fiance, and
mhm,
I've seen a different side of him way before this. So
okay,
I kind of knew that he wasn't gonna be happy about this. But I think that they're not their marriage is on thin ice. I really do.
mm,
I think that I see their marriage not lasting if because he keeps trying to push Alexei to do what she wants to do, but he's just not going to do it. I'm sorry, he's not going to do it. And if they don't last, Jonathan, we know we said this on our live. So if they don't last, basically, I basically said this before. If they don't last, it's going to be a mess because they have like what 3 4 kids.
yeah, they have
So
three
that
kids. They have
yeah,
three.
three. So that's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of.
and my
That'll be
thing with Lauren, I kind of see Lauren being a little bit selfish in
right.
this instance because she wants to do something for herself. She wants to get out there for herself. And not thinking about the family as a whole. But when you want to
Right.
do things for yourself, like she got the surgeries for herself, and then she came out of her mouth during that dinner and said she got the surgery for him, and he had to tell her,
Yeah.
"No, you got the surgery for you." And so, that type of
Yeah. Well,
manipulation going on.
she was thinking that she got the surgery because of both of them. She was thinking that she was going to improve the marriage. Well, your marriage is not improved, in my opinion. Your marriage has only got on thinner ice. Um, you know, you can only stretch somebody so far, and that's the way I feel about it. You can only stretch the people so many before they blow up. And
Right.
and then
Exactly.
that's the part where that's the part where I feel bad for Alexei because you don't want to push somebody that far.
Right, exactly. And so I don't know how they're going to be able to get through this.
Great. hmm
I don't know how they'll be able to come to a decision because I really
hmm
don't see Lexi taking off, quitting his job. I don't see him just dropping
I don't think so.
everything just to stay at
hmm
home and take care of the kids and do the laundry
Nope.
and the dishes and all that good stuff. And Lexi is not that type of man. Lexi is a man's man, like your typical, a hyper masculine, but not in a negative way, but still at the same time hyper masculine. He wants to be the man of the house. He wants to do what
hmm
men do in their families, and that's take care of everything financially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the wife take care of the things at home. And it's like I'm assuming that they've had this type of conversation as to how they were going to live their life as a married couple.
hmm
And so if Lauren is coming in and trying to change things up, again, I can see
hmm
why this is such an issue with Alex,
But
but
I don't think they had this conversation before this.
they might
I
not have.
honestly don't. I don't think they had this conversation, and I think that's the reason why I was kind of shocked
Yeah.
before now because just like I said when I first started this live, Jonathan, I said you need to have this conversation in private.
Right. Right.
Um, like as a team, you and me, we have conversations in uh, private. So that's just like I do things. I learn from my mistakes, Jonathan, just like
Hmm.
everybody else does.
Right.
And people just need to take certain things behind closed doors and don't do it on live TV. That's my point. period, point blank to that question.
Agreed. So we'll see where it goes on the next episode. Now we saw in the preview,
Right.
Dustin, that Lauren wants to go under the knife again and have another fast transfer procedure, and I know Lexi is going to go off on Lauren. Going to go off. How do you think that conversation is going to go?
I don't think she's going to get it. Her mother and her husband is not going to fly for it this time, because her mother said if God wanted them to be there, He would put them there in the first place.
Exactly, and like
I agree with that.
You literally just healed not even a month ago, girl. Like, why are you trying to do something else? So Lauren is slightly just starting to get
bigger, yeah.
Yeah, she want bigger tatas. Absolutely, she want bigger bazooms, honey. And so I get that, I really do. But as we spoke in a little bit earlier in the season, you know, this is what happens with those who start their plastic surgery type of thing, and they keep going. They don't know how to stop. So
it's a condition. As soon as they started, Jonathan, they want more and more until they can't go any longer. Now, so that's kind of like with other conditions that people have. Now, and that's just like I don't like to have surgeries. Because I have plenty of surgeries, Jonathan, as you know, and I don't like to have surgeries. As I get older, the risk goes higher. So. I just don't want to have any more surgery, so I wouldn't put myself through that if I didn't have to. That's just my point blank. And she's getting older as well, so you need to think about, you're getting older. Your body can't really take that like it used to.
Right, and I think I think what you were getting at is that seems like she might be a little addicted to having plastic surgery. So it is what it is. But let's move on to Angela and Michael. So Angela and Michael are in America. Did Michael get the visa? Is that why he's in America?
Yeah, he got the visa finally.
Oh, okay, so he got the visa on the episode before, because I watched 3 episodes ago.
He got the visa on the episode before, the last
Gotcha. Okay.
Episode.
So they are back in America. Angela comes home to her child and her grandchildren. Now, I think I didn't count them out, but it looked like it was 6 little kids in that home. And 2 or 3 of them had very curly African-esque hair. So are all those her daughter's kids, or are they someone else's kids?
It's her daughter's kids. She had a lot of her daughter had a lot of kids with other people when she was younger. So that's her daughter's kids.
Gotcha.
Yeah, her daughter has a long past with a lot of other people.
Gotcha.
So that's how she ended up with all these kids that she has.
Gotcha. Okay, so I was wondering, why am I seeing these brown children in this home with this beautiful hair? Like, they just have I see this big, gorgeous afro. I see this other child with this beautiful curly, a little bit coarse hair. Like, I was confused by that, but thank you so much for clearing that up for me, because I haven't watched Angela and Michael in any of the previous seasons of 90 Day Fiance, so I'm really not aware aware of their complete situation. But anyways, Angela comes back home, and she's acting as if Michael has not gotten the visa yet. She's acting as if Michael is not there when he's actually waiting in the car.
It's because she wanted to surprise the kids. Now, that part was kind of iffy on my part, because I would have told Skylar that he got the visa when you walked in the door, instead of telling, surprising. Because I'm not a big fan of surprises, Jonathan.
Me either.
No.
But
if somebody's coming here, I need to know.
Exactly.
I need to know.
Exactly. I need to know who's coming through that front door. I think what she wanted to do was kind of rub her daughter's face in it, that I brought my man home. I brought my husband home. You thought we couldn't do it, and we did it. And, yay for us. And, we proved you wrong and all this good stuff. And so Angela comes home. They have a beautiful Rottweiler dog. That dog is gorgeous. Right. I love that dog. And he was so cute. But anyways, the grandkids are happy to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And the house is somewhat put together, I guess, as
Sure.
well as it possibly can be for people in their situation. But Michael comes through
Right.
the door, and the grandchildren are ecstatic to see Michael. They've
And
been
that I'm just gonna say something right quick to that question, Jonathan.
yeah,
Now I think their house is a little bit too small for all the people in there. Um,
agreed,
if you have
agreed.
if you had 6 grandkids in one house, and you got Angela, Michael, and Skyla, her name's Skyla, her daughter.
Mhm.
So why would you have that small house and have all them people in there? That would make me claustrophobic.
Oh,
Now,
right.
now
Me,
I need
me too.
space. I need space. I don't need people up on top of me like that.
Right.
That don't fly with me. No, it don't fly with me at all. It just don't. Yeah.
Exactly. But the grandkids are so happy to see Michael when he
All
comes through the
right.
door. Everyone's so excited to see him. Angela is just in heaven because she
Sure.
did what everyone thought that she could not do. She brought her man home.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting for me to watch Angela and Michael because it's almost like I'm watching a movie
Mm-hmm.
or a scripted television show because I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe they're in their relationship. I don't see them as an
No,
authentic couple. So
they're no longer together. Let's just put that out there. They are no
right.
longer together. So yeah, let's just say that real quick. Mhm.
And so to see them playing this reality TV show game,
It's
I
because
feel
it's because TLC sometimes they have it depends on what kind of depends on what kind of show it is. But sometimes they have a script they go off of, and
right.
sometimes they have to follow that script or they're not on the show. Sometimes like certain couples, sometimes they don't get along, or sometimes they're no longer together, like Michael and Angela. So they follow the paper how they want it to go out. They go out like that. That's just how they do it sometimes. Mhm.
Yeah, and so
Right,
Angela takes the time to take Michael to her room, and she opens her room. First of all, she can barely open the door because it's so
right,
cluttered in there. And Angela looks like a hoarder.
yeah.
Clearly, looks like a hoarder. She got
My question is,
things.
my question is, my question is to everybody in this chat and to you, Jonathan. Where are they gonna sleep? They don't have any bed. Where are they gonna
Good
sleep?
question. Good question. Like I don't know. I really am unaware. I don't know, Dustin. I really don't. But what did you
Right.
think of the grandkids' reaction to seeing Michael come through the door
Well, I think
and her
I think
daughter's
they were.
reaction as
Mhm.
well?
I think that I was kind of surprised on how Skyla reacted, her daughter, because I think that her daughter was expecting to this whole situation to fail.
Right.
Now it finally went through after 7 years because they
Hmm.
were together for 7 years, and it finally went through
Wow.
till now.
I
But
didn't even know
that's
there was
just
that long.
yeah, they've been together for a long time. They've been a part of 90 Day Fiance for several seasons now, and how long does it take for a marriage to go through? And I'm not talking about a regular marriage. I'm not talking about the 90 Day Fiance marriages. I'm talking about the regular marriage. So,
Right.
and a lot of people, the regular marriage, sometimes they fail anyway. But when you have certain people like this on a 90 Day Fiance program, it's a higher uh, stuff like that because sometimes you know, as we see with Michael and Angela, they are no longer together. So that's how I feel about it. But I think the kids were happy to see Michael, but
They
I don't
were.
think I don't think that Skyla was happy to see him. Mm-mm.
She didn't make it seem as though she wasn't happy to see him, but we all know that she was not happy to see Michael coming through that door.
Right,
She was,
right,
and she said, I'm so surprised to see my mother acting like everything is all hunky dory, everything is all
mm-hmm.
on the up and up when they've been
Correct.
having all these issues, and my mother has literally been calling
Because
me
Aunt,
over and over again.
because Angela's a good hider. She wants to hide what's actually going on. But
Right,
as we know, Jonathan, and as we know everybody else on the chat, we know what's going on because I see what's going on because I see I see the articles and I see what's going on behind the show as after because as soon as I started covering this show, I started getting more articles about what's going on with these couples. So I see the TV, but I also see what's going on in their actual life.
Right. And the thing about Angela is she feels like she's doing things, like she feels like she's in control. But
Right.
as we've said in past Juice Radio and Talk Show 90 Day Fiance reviews, Angela is
Mm-hmm.
clearly not in control. Michael is clearly the one who has all the control in this relationship. And so because Angela feels like she's manipulating her daughter in a way, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what she feels like she's
Well,
doing.
I think that I kind of agree with that statement, Jonathan. I think that she's manipulation to her daughter. I really do, because I think that she should have told her daughter at the beginning actually what's going on, and don't try to hide the situation, because you're gonna find out about it anyway. And we can see the preview and the next episode. Her daughter wasn't very happy about the whole
Right.
situation, because they were both sitting there and they were talking about it.
Hmm. Yeah. So
And
it is what it is with Angela and Michael. We'll see what happens on the next episode. On to Kobe and
yeah,
Emily.
yeah.
I think I'll scratch Lexi and Lauren be my favorite. I think this might be it's the tie. It's the tie. I guess it's the tie
Yeah,
between
I
Kobe and
think
Emily.
Colby and Emily is one of my favorites in both seasons. But I think that I don't agree with Colby on this situation, because Colby wants to move to
To
where is
Cameroon.
it from? Cameroon. Thank you, Jonathan.
You're
He wants
welcome.
to move there, but I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think that she wants to move there, because, and I kind of agree with her, because the kids, they're not old enough to remember. Uh,
Exactly.
they're not old enough to remember what half of the stuff that goes on. So why are you wanting to move there? She's not. She's basically telling you, hey, your kids ain't old enough, so let's just stay in the state until they get older, and then yeah, we're talking about. But why would you want to do it now for? That don't make any sense to me. That
Yeah. I
that just don't
think
make any sense.
I think Kobe is just missing his
Uh,
family, and the fact that they visited Cameroon and they were there for 2
mm-hmm,
weeks made
mm-hmm,
him want to move back there and made him miss it that much more. And I'm
mm-hmm.
thinking that he likes Cameroon more than he likes America, although there are
I do
more
agree. Mm-hmm.
opportunities in America. There's more
Yeah.
opportunities to make more money. There's more
Mm-hmm.
opportunities
Yeah.
for jobs and things of that nature. But being back
Right.
in Cameroon with all of his family, first of all, their wedding was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I understand the family part, but I also understand that you have another family in the United States.
Right.
You moved out of where he came from for a reason, because you wanted a better life. And her dad even said you moved out of there for a reason. So why would
Right.
you want to put yourself back in that situation? Now, if
And
I moved out of a situation, I don't want to go back. I
right.
just like the I don't want to go back to where I was before. And
Right.
I don't want to go back to be uh, unhappy again. No,
Exactly.
that's not me.
No
That's not
one,
me.
nobody really wants to go back to their past because it seems like everyone seems to have a not so memorable or not so
Uh,
eventful past that they don't want to visit again. Here's
mm,
my thing about Kobe wanting to move back to
so,
Cameroon. I feel as though it may have something to do with his father. I think he has a
mhm,
feeling that his father may not be with us too much longer, and he wants to spend as much time with his father and his
mhm,
family as he possibly can while he's able to, while his father is still here.
mhm,
And I also understand Emily's point of view concerning this question. Like, why would we want to move to another country, to another continent, while our kids
so,
are under the age of 3 at this point? And then
yeah.
they just had another one. So I don't know if
They
that
just had another one. Yeah, they just had another one.
right. So
Uh,
that'll
yeah,
probably push this thing back a little bit even further because when
right,
you're I'm guessing under the age of 3 or 4, you probably don't
right.
remember a whole lot of what happened around that time.
You don't remember a lot of stuff when you're, because I don't remember what happened, in my time as well, that young either. But uh, that's just my point. Why would you want to move it? That you can move them maybe in the future when they're older, like what she said. Like
Right.
7 or 8 years old, but not right now, because they're just uh, trying to get their bearings, Jonathan, and
Right.
they want to be where they know where everything's at. United States of America. That's where we're all at. But that's just like that's a pretty much given to me, because that's how I would want to. I wouldn't want to move
Me,
in
me,
another
me
country.
either. Not in their situation. And I love
Nope.
the fact that Emily's father asked Kobe, I think 2 or 3 times. So, what will you
Yeah.
do for money if you move back to Cameroon? And all
Hmm.
Kobe could say is, I have businesses that I can work in. I have these businesses that I
Yeah,
have, and
he
he
did,
was never
but
really
he didn't.
actually
Hmm. But
specific.
he
He
didn't.
wasn't specific
Hmm.
in what those businesses were. I don't know
Right.
if that means that there aren't any businesses or that there are businesses and they may not be necessarily so legal in America or more acceptable in America. So he doesn't want to
Yeah.
reveal that on
Well,
an American television show.
I think that he I think that he don't want to reveal that on a TV show.
Right.
Now I can understand that because I wouldn't want to reveal stuff like that on a TV show anyway. But I just don't understand if you already have a job in the United States of
In the
America,
United States. Right.
why would you want to leave that job? Um, yes, you can get a better job, but you don't want to leave that job because you have a family that you are supporting and you're trying to buy a house. And
Right.
because they're living with the mother's parents. Now, I'm going to get to that point. You can live with your parents for a certain amount of time, but you don't have to if because you're starting to feel like you this is your permanent residency after a while because
Right.
you don't have anywhere to go, which I understand that, but you can buy a house. Now,
Hmm.
somebody needs to find them a house, and they need to get out of the mother's house. That's my opinion about that situation.
And I also have a feeling that this has something to do with Colby wanting to take a little bit more control of their
Hmm.
relationship, because when
But I don't think,
she
but I don't think Emily will allow that, even if they find another house, because I think Emily has a tendency of controlling the marriage
right.
that I can see, and I don't think Emily will allow that.
Because when
Jonathan.
she said
Hmm.
no, he said, "Oh, so you make all the decisions for our relationship?" And Emily kind of laughed a little bit, like, "Oh, so you try to take a
She's
just
basically
step on
saying,
my
"Yeah, I
feet?"
make the decisions."
Right. Yes, she does make the decisions. It's clear that she makes the decisions. Hey, Mamir, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. Um, excuse me. So that's what's going on with Colby and Emily.
Right,
Hopefully, they'll be able to come to a decision or come together in a way that works out for the best for
right.
both of them.
Hmm.
So let's move on to Gino and Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine
Hmm.
is at this pageant. I can't remember exactly what the
Right.
name of it is, some type of international pageant, whatever the case may be. So
Sure.
this
Hmm.
pageant is separated into, I think, what seems like 2 or 3 days, which I
Yep.
didn't know that this is how
3
pageants.
days. It was a
3 days. Okay, so
three
I
days.
didn't know that
Hmm.
this is how pageants work. I guess if they're not the Miss America and Miss USA and Miss Teen USA, then this is how pageants would typically work. So that's a
Yeah.
surprise to me. But
Right.
I thought that she looked great in her attire that she wore for her country 2 episodes
Hmm.
ago. And this most
Right.
recent episode, they did the question and answer portion. And the question that was given to Jasmine was, "Why is it that you entered this pageant?" And Jasmine gave the perfect answer. She said she
Hmm.
was trying to find herself. She was trying to find her purpose. She was trying to find a way to be happier. She was trying to find a way to lift herself up. And I thought that that was a grade A plus answer from Jasmine.
Hmm.
That was great from her, and it was great to see Gino applauding his wife, cheering her on
Hmm.
from the crowd. Now she said that in the previous episode that she didn't want him going to her rehearsals, and I
Hmm.
saw that she had an issue with him recording other women while they were doing their runway walks, and
Right.
she got really upset about that 2 episodes ago, and she thought that he was being a creep about it, that he wanted to just watch those videos to do his own thing on his own personal time, if y'all know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Not
We
sure
know.
how you can finish off of just
Yeah.
women, and there's just a top and a bottom, and just walking around. I don't know how you do what you're supposed to do with just that, but hey, you know what I'm saying? People
Yeah.
have wild imagination, so I guess you can do whatever it is that comes to your mind.
Hmm.
But I was starting to feel a little bit bad for Gino in these episodes, Dustin, because
Hmm.
I see Gino actually making the effort to do
Hmm.
things for Jasmine that makes her happy, which he
Hmm.
has not done at all from what I've seen on the last 2 seasons that I've seen them on 90 Day
Yeah.
Fiance. So
Hmm.
so when she's coming to him and she's bringing up her issues. This is after
Sure.
her question and answer portion of the pageant.
Mhm.
They go back to the hotel room, and she brings up the fact again that he is not being intimate with her. They have no intimacy whatsoever. And Gino was trying to tell Jasmine, well, when you talk to me the way that you don't look as attractive to me, and that makes me not want to be intimate with you. And
Right.
Jasmine thinks that it's something else with him sexually that he's having issues with. But I think I kind of believe Gino when he says,
Uh,
when you're yelling at me and when
mm,
you have what seems to be all this hostility towards me, it makes me not
mhm.
want to be intimate with you. And I can understand that if you're mad at someone constantly, you're not going to want to go into bed with them and have that alone private time with them. So what were
Exactly,
your
Jonathan. That's how I
on
feel.
it, Dustin?
I feel the same way you feel with that situation because
Yeah.
there there's two people in a marriage, and you have to have both sides of people in a marriage. So you know, eh, she has some faults, and everybody has faults, but she has another level of issues that she don't want to see, but she wants uh, Gino to see the information that she doesn't see. But I kind of see it, point where you and I are seeing it, Jonathan. But she doesn't see the issues, and in order for her to see the issues, I think she needs to go to therapy, or
Yeah.
counseling, because there ain't no way that this marriage is going to last if you guys don't solve some of your issues. Now, whatever that issue is, Jasmine, not as miserable as Gino, because Gino, I can kind of see the issues that they both have, but Jasmine is one. Jasmine is the one that's trying to push all this, and I don't think he's ready for all that, in my opinion, Jonathan. I really don't.
Yeah, it's so interesting that I'm seeing Jasmine in this light of she's
Mm-hmm.
coming off as ungrateful right now because Gino has literally done nothing wrong since
Everything.
he's come out to this pageant. And she says that, when he's telling her that she needs to work on her walk, she needs to work on her posture, she needs to work on her smile to be a little bit more natural looking and not so forced. Because, when she was smiling on her first time walking,
Mm-hmm.
it did look like a fake forced smile. And so Gino is giving her really good constructive criticism, but she just sees it as him tearing her down. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, Jasmine, like, I understand you want him to be your biggest cheerleader. You want him to tell you that you're doing everything perfectly, that you're doing everything right.
Right.
But
Right.
you really can't come off of it in this way because what he's telling you is something that will actually help you to do better in this competition, that will help you to do better
Right.
in this pageant. So
Mm.
again, that's why I
Honestly,
felt so bad for him.
I felt bad for him as well, Jonathan. But I just think that Jasmine needs to get some help and her anger issues. Um, she has a lot of, but she has a lot of built up things that she's going through, but she doesn't feel like sharing it with Gino. And Gino is her husband. So you have to share what you doesn't. You don't have to share everything, but you have to share to a certain level because it is your marriage, and your marriage is affected by it. And the
Right.
point, at the point to where you have to kind of pick your battles in a marriage. So if you
Exactly.
feel like you have to pick your battles in life anyway, so you have to pick your battles in a marriage. That's the same way, and you have to get through it. Jasmine and Gina, I know you will get through it because I don't think you're going to get a divorce,
Me
but you
either.
never know. I don't think so, but you guys are going to get through it. But you have to talk about your issues, and you have to talk about what hurt. You have to talk about what's hurting you, Jasmine, and you have to actually have a conversation, just like me and Jonathan are doing right now. We have to have a conversation, a deep conversation about certain things. And that's just my point in my period. That's my point that I'm trying to make. Hmm.
Right. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? Aaron, I'm starting
And
to sound like you talking about Gino here, giving him a little bit of grace. But the issue with Gino and Jasmine is if their intimacy issues go back to the way that Jasmine has been talking to Gino, if Gino's
right,
not going to change, which I don't expect him to change, and I
I
don't
don't think he's going
expect
to
him
change.
to make too much more of an effort, because the reason why he's giving effort now is because he knows that this is important to Jasmine,
Right.
and this is something that is extracurricular. So this is just an isolated incident. This is why Gino is giving her all of this attention now. But if their issues go back to the fact that Jasmine is always yelling at Gino, that's because Gino is not doing things right. Gino's not taking care of Jasmine the way that she deserves to be taken care of. So if those are the issues and Gino doesn't change that, then they're never going to be good again. I don't see them being good again. I really don't.
They're not gonna,
I'm sure they're going to stay together though.
They're going to stay together, but they're not going to be 100%.
Right.
So that's why I said they need therapy, counseling, therapy, because you need to get back to the point you was before all this and has went down. And I'm not going to say it could change. It's still going to change your marriage, even though you are healing. Just like the stuff that I went through a couple weeks ago. I'm still trying to heal, through all that. But that's my situation, and that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so we'll see what happens next with them. Let's move on to Patrick and Thais. I love this. Now I'm about to say that they're my favorite couple. I think they are actually my favorite couple, Patrick and Thais. I have to say that. I think they are my favorite couple. So Patrick, Thais, John, and Zaddy, aka is his name Carlos? Thais is
Carlos, Carlos.
Yes.
Carlos, yeah.
So Patrick, Thais, John, and Carlos, they're all taking this vacation. They're going out of town. I don't know exactly where they are, what country they're in. I'm assuming they're still in Brazil, but they're somewhere.
They're still in Brazil, yeah.
Right. I don't know where exactly they are, but it seems like John.
I don't know where they're at in Brazil, but I know they're in Brazil.
Okay, so it seems like John and Carlos, forget the fact that they don't speak the same language. John doesn't know Portuguese.
They're trying to have conversations, but you can't have a conversation if you don't understand what they're saying.
Exactly. And so, John's saying these things, and Carlos is saying, I don't understand. And then they start laughing. It's like, but the thing is, like, I'm starting to love John a little bit, Dustin. Like, he's starting to, like, humor me, and it's starting to look very... Yes.
I started to see another side of John now.
Yes, like a side that makes me want to love him and makes me want to root for him and makes me want to kind of be around him a little bit. I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I'm embarrassed to say it, child. But anyways, it's so interesting to see John in this space with Carlos, and the fact that Patrick can't find himself doing the same thing. But again, Patrick is in a different situation. He, John's not in a relationship with Thais. Patrick is. And so Patrick starts, saying that, maybe we should go fishing, or maybe we should go, jet skiing or whatever. And Carlos is like, no, not interested, not in the mood, don't want to do those things. And so if I'm Patrick and I'm getting no response, or an actual no response from Carlos, then what would make me feel as though you would be open to me asking you for the blessing? Now, forget the fact that we've been married for 2 years now, but you still want me to ask you for your blessing.
He's been married for 2 years. He don't need the blessing.
Right. Exactly.
He don't need the blessing anymore.
And what bothers me a little bit is to see Thais continue to push Patrick to make more of an effort. But Carlos is not making any effort at all with Patrick, like not at all. He has no interest in Patrick. But again, the reason why is because Patrick never asked his blessing to begin with. And so, do you think if Patrick asked for the blessing, we'll see Carlos, ease up on Patrick and be a little bit more caring towards him?
My question is maybe. I'm not going to say yes or no, because I think that it's already too late, and this is why.
Me too.
I think you should have asked for the blessing before you even got married 2 years ago,
right?
And not now, because to me, I think it's already too late, Jonathan.
It is
in this situation, because when you get married to somebody, you should ask for the blessing before you even get married. That's just my opinion, and everything. So that's just that's how I feel about that. Maybe that might get the blessing, but if he does, I don't think it's going to change a lot of things, because I think he's already hurt. Jonathan, that they didn't ask for him the blessing before that, and I think that he might even bring it up. If he does ask for the blessing, I think that he's going to say, "Why didn't you ask me before?" Because because this is how I feel. So I can only imagine how he feels because he's the one in
Exactly.
this. He's the same one that's in the situation. We're not physically there, but if we were, we would feel the same way,
Yeah. So I just
right?
feel bad for Patrick because it's like you're
Sure.
damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Patrick is
Mm-hmm.
trying his best, and
That's
Carlos
correct.
is giving him absolutely zero in return. And it's
Sure.
so disappointing for me to see that in Carlos. But at the same token, I understand why Carlos feels the way that he does towards Patrick because he feels disrespected. He literally feels
Right.
disrespected that Patrick didn't ask his blessing. And so the only way to really close this gap, the next step is for Patrick to literally ask for the blessing, because that's literally what he's been asking Patrick to do since they got to Brazil, is ask for my
Correct.
blessing. So hopefully before the end of this
Mm-hmm.
season, we will see Patrick
Mm-hmm.
asking for the blessing, and who knows
And we're
how
gonna have
that
a
is
big,
going to go.
and we're gonna have a big tell-all, Jonathan, because guess who showed up at the tell-all in the previews?
Is it Carlos?
No, uh,
John?
Michael showed up in the previews at the tell-all. So
Really?
yeah. I seen the previews for the tell-all already, and
Wow, I need to look for
Michael
those.
was already there.
Wow. All right.
Angela
So
wasn't there. Angela wasn't there, but Michael's there.
okay, okay, all right. I'll be ready to see. I will be ready to see that. So let's move on to our last couple. We got a little bit
Okay.
of time left. So we're going on to Ashley and Manuel. My favorite man on this show is Manuel. I've been saying that
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning of us reviewing 90 Day
Correct.
Fiance. He is the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate Latin lover. I love his eyes. I love his
Right.
smile. I love his personality. I love his laugh. I love everything about
Mm-hmm.
Manuel. So they've been
Sure.
having these issues. Ashley asked Jonathan, Manuel's friend, if he's been in
Mm-hmm.
contact with his ex-girlfriend, aka the mother of his children. And
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan revealed to him that he has been in contact with her. Now, Ashley's issue is Manuel has been telling Ashley that he's been not in contact with his
Right.
ex-girlfriend and that he hates being in contact with her. He hates talking to her. She brings nothing but problems. And so when she hears this information, she's taken aback. And so she feels as though Manuel is being untruthful with her. So Manuel
Sure.
walks into their bedroom and Manuel actually wants to have the conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
Manuel reveals to Ashley that his mother is having some health issues, and that's the reason why he wanted her to send $300. And he put $1,000 in his personal bank account of her money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Manuel actually began to cry when
Sure.
Ashley told him that when she doesn't know what's going on, her mind starts to wonder. She starts to speculate, and she's thinking that he's doing wrong things. She's thinking that
Mm-hmm.
he's doing things against her that will make her angry, and all she can do is assume and speculate. And so Manuel starts to break down, and when Manuel started crying, I won't say that I began to cry too
Sure.
because I'm not that much of a crier, but I was getting emotional when I was watching that man cry because
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would see Manuel cry, and when he started to do it, like I just fell in love with Manuel. I really
Sure.
did. Like I just wanted him to hug me up and console me when
Right.
he's the one that's quiet, child. But
Right.
what did you think of this conversation that they had? Because it was
Well,
clearly a good
I
one,
think that it needed to happen,
right?
and I think that it really helped Ashley out in this situation because um, you should have told your wife about this situation before. I'm glad you did it now, but you should have told them before all this because um, she didn't. I didn't expect him to break down like he did
Hmm.
on the show, but when he did that, I kind of felt bad for him because that's like me. I hold so much in, but when I
Right.
after I let it all out, that happened to me too. So
Me too, Dustin.
I hold so much in, Jonathan. That when I
Hmm.
tell things, it breaks out the way I don't want it to. That's
Yeah.
this point. That's the way I am. So that's I kind of felt bad for him because I'm the same kind of the same way about that. If I don't if I say it in a different way that I don't expectedly want to sometimes. But
Right. Yeah. Because when someone kind of forces it out of you, it doesn't come
right,
out the way that you want it to come out. It just comes out
right,
blah 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 all at
right,
once in a way that
right.
maybe sometimes wouldn't make sense. But I just thought that moment was so beautiful. So beautiful. And the fact that, I told you before we started recording, I felt like, and don't shoot me, y'all, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ashley, and I don't believe necessarily, just like I don't believe Gino deserves Jasmine, I don't think Ashley deserves Manuel, because I think Manuel is a really good man. I think he's a man that just wants to live his best life, and wants to be free. And I see Ashley holding him close and tight to her at all times, right by her side. She doesn't want him to leave her side. And so, when you're suffocated like that, you feel like you can't be yourself. You feel like you can't do what you want to do. But in this moment, I was so glad that Ashley was there to comfort him in that moment. And I was so glad that she was able to tell him, just be open with me and be available to me and let me know exactly what is going on specifically, so I don't go asking questions in my mind that I don't want to ask you, because I don't feel like you're going to be truthful with me. So please just be open and honest with me about all of your intentions, so that I know you're coming from a genuine space.
Coming from a good place. And that's just coming, just let me know what you got going on, so I know what you're coming from a good place. And that's just the way that I am. Sometimes I see a lot of me in these couples, because I'm kind of the same, the same wavelength. I try to hold it all in before I, and I try to change that, Jonathan, but it's not really easy, because sometimes I feel like that I am a burden on people that I don't want to be. So that's just like, that's like I told you on the other program. I lean on you as much as as much. I try to do it myself, but sometimes I have to lean on somebody else.
And that's okay. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help each other out, y'all. Jennifer and Tyrone are backstage, putting all this together for us. And so I want to spend a special shout out to Jennifer and Tyrone before we leave, for putting this all together for me. And so thank you guys so much. And so that's all for now. I can't believe that we've gone almost an hour, but when we have as many couples to talk about as we have, it's going to take up some time. So thank you so much, Dustin, for joining me today for this 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After review. You guys, we will be back next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_Speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. And my Cash App is $Jonathan Lee 07. If you'd like to support my channel. But thank you guys once again for joining us. I hope you join us next week at 6 p.m. for our 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. So we're going to say bye for now. Hope y'all have a wonderful week. We love y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Bye y'all.
Bye.